It's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another Kicking It session. And today I have a trader. I love talking to other traders. Cobb. He's known online as Trader Cobb. How are you, Craig? How are you doing today, man? Down under, right?
Yeah, mate. Near Bondi Beach in Sydney. Thanks for having me. Good to be on the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's go ahead and get right into it, because I know you got another gig right after. You're going to get on with your trading group and talk to them and update them today. So tell me, how did you get into trading? How long have you been trading? I love to hear these stories, and kind of let me know your introduction into cryptos after that. Like, what was the time, place, person, like who actually got you involved in the crypto side of things? But first, tell me about just in general your trading experience and your journey with that.
Yeah, sure, mate. I always ask, I love these questions as well, asking other traders. Look, my start was, I started buying stock when I was 16. I had a little business and just really was always excited and interested in the share market in Australia. Now, I couldn't buy the shares legally then, so I did it through my dad to help. And since then, I sort of just really had an interest. And I went to London when was it, 2005, and I saw on the side of the tube, or what you call the subway or underground or metro, depending on whereabouts you are in the world, a big sign that said, "Trade the markets, tax-free income." And I'm like, okay. That sounds pretty good to me. And that was called spread betting. So it was a tax-free option to trade in London at that time. I think it's still available now, which I thought, you beauty, let's get stuck into this. Went to this seminar, as you do, and ended up not working for that company, but finding another company to work for. And then basically just sitting down with their traders every single day. I'd get in there at about 5:36 in the morning and leave basically when the traders left after doing a 9-to-5 job. So I was basically a remora, and a remora is a fish that sucks onto the side of a shark and follows it around. So I just sort of basically took as much information as I possibly could from them, and that's what got me into trading. Set up a little trading desk for a family office in London at 23, 24. Worked out I didn't really like that too much, got out of that. And since then, I've been trading, speaking, educating in foreign exchange, bonds, commodities, stocks, pretty much you name it. As long as it moved, I traded. I didn't really have, the preference was foreign exchange because it did have, good liquidity and good volume. Sorry, same thing, good liquidity and good volatility at times. I got into crypto last year, 2017, July. I got a phone call from a business mentor of mine who said, "Cobby, mate, you've got to get into this crypto thing." And I thought, oh God, here we go. I'd heard about Bitcoin in 2013, but for me, I wasn't, a tech speculator.
Right.
I was somebody who traded charts. I was a technical analyst, still am, and I sort of looked at Bitcoin and went, look, I didn't look at it from the sense of what can this technology do. I looked at it from the sense of, can I trade it?
Right.
And at that time, I couldn't really move as freely in the market. Came back to it last year, and he pointed out, I started having a look around. I went, holy Jesus. Started investing in it in July, started trading in it. I think it was end of August, early September, because I've been watching it long enough to understand. And yeah, the tradercobb.com business, the podcast, all that sort of stuff sort of kicked off. Actually, today is the 20th. Hey, we're 1 year old today. There you go.
Nice.
So there you go. Yeah, that's how we got into it.
Sweet. So, I like to talk to guys like you, professional traders. What is the difference, though, with the crypto markets versus traditional? Well, when I say traditional, like I used to trade FX full time for a while. I had a commodity trading advisory firm. So I kind of understand that market, right? So what do you see the pros of the crypto markets versus FX, and then give me some of the cons as well?
Yeah, sure. Look, the pros are the volatility. That's the only, that is the pro. That's the one that makes it worthwhile, right? As long as you manage your risk multiple, if this is your risk multiple, and say at foreign exchange, your reward multiple over a couple of days might be 3 or 4 times, very much smaller moves typically. Whereas in crypto, the sky's the limit. Do you know what I mean? Like the moves are just astronomically large and in a very short space of time. So if you can manage your risk, pinpoint your entries well enough, of course, you can still lose money. Don't get me wrong. I mean, look, we'll have losing trades, but
Absolutely.
it just means that when you do have a winner and you get a runner, you get a big runner. So that's the positive. The negative really is the tools. That's the negative.
Okay.
It's like, if you go and look at TradeStation, for example, a platform I used to use and trade from quite a bit, you've got laddered orders, you've got every product you wish, you can have it across all your screens.
Correct.
You've got massive volumes, you can pick up the phone and speak to somebody. These are all things that I took for granted. I don't anymore. Crypto is still very in its infancy. It's still difficult for many platforms to have an entry, stop, and target in one simple order.
Yep.
So they're definitely the concept. There is also it's still very, very low volume.
Liquidity.
Yeah. So you've still got liquidity issues outside of the top 10. But, that's going to change. And personally, I try to stick to trading top 10 most of the time, and anything else I'll trade without leverage. So top 10 for my leverage is where most of my trading occurs, with margin. But without margin, I'll trade on the markets provided that, there's a buy side big enough and a sell side big enough.
Right. So what about how segmented and fractured these crypto markets are? It's different than the FX markets, right? Where you have your major brokers, IBs, and you got like a central pool, even though there may be different banks trading FX that we all kind of meet, right? It's kind of different in this game, right? It's no centralized price discovery. Well, price discovery comes about, but it's very fragmented, right?
Oh, it absolutely is, and with that fragmentation does come opportunity for an arbitrage trade, right? So more so, less when the markets are calm, more so when they're a bit frantic. When the markets take off in either direction, there is definitely good money to be made on the arb side, on the arb trade, which is just, you send it from one platform to another, different pricing, and you just move around. But I'm not really that into that. I got guys that do that. Personally, for me, I just try and find the platforms with the largest volumes. So I don't really mind if the pricing is slightly different. I don't take that into account with my trading decisions. I trade what I see in front of me. So if I'm trading, say, on BitNext, for example, I'll look at the BitNext price. I'm not interested in the Coinbase price because I'm not trading on Coinbase. If I'm looking at the Binance, something to trade on Binance without leverage, I'll look at the Binance price. Now, BitMEX, Binance, Bitfinex are typically where a lot of my trading gets done, as they do have pretty good volumes. BitMEX definitely on Bitcoin. Bitfinex is pretty good for just a wider range. And I also trade on some traditional platforms as well, because they've got the I can't remember what the guarantee is called, but in Australia there's like a bank guarantee that if that broker or platform goes under, they're all segregated accounts. That's one thing I like. We're guaranteed, I think it's $250,000. So if I've got 250 in that account at any one time and they go under, the government gives me my 250 back. So there's a level of risk acceptance there for me. The only problem with that is they're not 24-hour dealing desks. So I take weekend exposure as massive risk. So your intraday trading
spreads are blown out probably on the weekends too, are they?
Well, the problem is there's no market on those platforms. There's just no market. They just shut. They're a traditional market player. So, when the FX market's shut, they shut too.
Yep.
So intraday trading there only really, unless there's been a big move and you feel confident and comfortable enough.
Holding over the weekend.
That's it.
That's a scary thing. I know. I
usually
closed out in FX because, man, you can have a gap up or gap down that will just ruin your week for sure.
Or year,
right? Or life.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Euro Swiss trade. Remember that one back?
Oh my God!
When they unpegged from 1.2 to the euro. Oh man, that took a lot of people out. That took a lot of people. Like, I think
I was trading during the Brexit. That was amazing, bro. That was like one of the last periods of me trading in FX.
Wow. And what a way to go.
I mean, if you looked at the chart, I don't know what you used in FX, but I would use a lot of time I would just use MetaTrader's charting. I know it's a retail type thing, but I program my algos in MetaTrader, so that's why I would use it. But man, those bars will just 1,000 pip in 1 hour. It was crazy, man. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that was a wild period. Same with the Japanese tsunami, if you recall that little period. That was pretty wild as well.
I do remember that.
Tragic event happened. I was sitting there trading through that, and that was like what's going on here? I flicked the news on, and holy Jesus, look at this.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm sure we've got lots of stories.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So tell us about this your podcast. I'm on your website, tradercobb.com. I think this is more focused on your actual training courses, but tell us a little bit about the podcast that you have and how's that going? Are you having pretty good fun with that?
Yeah, mate, it was it's called the Trader Cobb Crypto Show, and you can see there it's just down the bottom. You just click on any of your thingy, I don't know, whatever player you want it. But look, we started that in March of this year, and it was. I thought, who's going to want to listen to me? Who's going to want to listen to me talking to people and talking about trading? My business partner said, "Look, mate, you got to do it. It's the new thing." I'm like, "All right, let's do this." And just as we were flying to New York to do Consensus, to cover Consensus, we hit #1 in the US business charts.
That's crazy.
I know, right? I just couldn't believe it. And there was 9 other countries at that time as well. So it shocked me to hell, right? I'm like, geez, people like listening to me talk to other people.
It's the new wave, man. I don't know if you follow Gary Vee.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so he's been talking about this for some years, and it is really coming to pass now.
Oh yeah, everyone's got a podcast.
Move. Yeah.
But look, for me, it's just so much fun. Like I've been able to interview some amazing people. I mean, I got to interview Trace Myers. I got to interview Joseph Leben, several billionaires. Kavita Gupta of Consensus, the fund manager. I mean, it's just been a whirlwind, man. Like we've now got a media business that's sort of, when I go traveling, we do in front of camera interviews, and like trading I've been doing for 12 years now, right? And I'm good at it. It's something that I've worked at hard for a very long time, and I know that I'm good at it, right?
And we're gonna get into that, yeah, because we gotta.
This whole media side is so much fun. I didn't realize I was good at it. I didn't realize I'd enjoy it, but God, I'm having fun with it.
Yeah. No, you're right. Some people just have the personality, the voice, all of that. And, you got it or you don't. You got it or you don't. So that's great that you're having fun with that. And really, the sky is the limit with that with that endeavor for sure for you. Tell us let's get into the cryptos, right?
Yep.
Derivatives, synthetic markets, and all that. We've got the Bitcoin ETF that, was delayed one more time. I think it's going to be delayed. The final delay in February of 2019. What are your thoughts about that Van Eck ETF? And give me your thoughts on the backed exchange that should be spinning up in January.
Yeah, look, from my point of view, I mean, the second that anyone started talking about an ETF, it was going to happen. It's just a natural progression that more derivative products and more opportunities get given to an emerging economy, an emerging market. If people believe that Bitcoin is going to stick around and that crypto is going to stick around, then the ETF's the natural progression, and many people do. So I don't know when it's going to happen. I believe it will be good for the space. I think any progression will be good for the space. When the CME brought in the futures last year, I thought that was good for the space. I know a lot of people in crypto were freaking out a bit, and I know until just recently, I've noticed a lot of people saying, "Don't forget futures expiration on this date." It's like,
there's no volume over there.
No one cares. Yeah, no one. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. It's only if you make it an issue, it's an issue. Like I don't look at that on anything else. Like it doesn't.
And technically speaking, Craig, I mean, it's not even settled in Bitcoin.
Exactly right.
So.
It means literally nothing. But the thing is that people's understanding of traders and futures products is really minimal in this space. Many people haven't had that experience. So they see it as a big bad wolf, and it is a bit scary. With Backed, however, I'm really looking forward to seeing what products they bring into the space, as they will be settling into Bitcoin.
I know.
Now,
that's huge.
What that means, I don't really know. I mean, obviously these institutions are going to have to get Bitcoin. They're going to do it OTC. OTC will run out, I hope. And then it will hopefully roll into the market. So we'll actually see some volatility going on again. But it remains to be seen. I'm very optimistic, but I'm also very realistic.
I'm realistic with you, and the reason is because we've seen what happened this year with the bear market. Institutional investors, traders, hedge fund managers, they're not used to these types of I mean, you're talking about an 85% retracement. That is not normal in traditional markets, and if we saw that, it would be the end of the world. So do you think this bear market that we've had in cryptos this year is going to scare off a lot of that potential business that we thought we would see coming into 2019?
It depends on what businesses they are. Trading and trading related products, no, because traders want volatility. Sure. All right. They also want to have volume. They need to have liquidity to move freely when you're trading bigger numbers. So that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to see, because they're going to have the products to trade, but will the volume exist? I mean, right now, what's Bitcoin, like an $86 billion market or something like that? It's so small that one of these institutions could buy the entire Bitcoin, market. It is that small. Right. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't think it will scare away certain businesses. I think others, what they're doing at the moment is they're building now, waiting for the volume to come back, waiting for the market to come back to them. It's going to be a very interesting time to see how they pick it up. I think that a lot of the people in the space are hoping that it just gets picked up straight away. I don't think that'll be the case. I think it'll be in drips and drabs. And as we see price and volumes increase, media coverage increase, more positivity in the news, more I suppose the word I'm looking for is credibility in the news as well. I think that's when we'll just see it drip feed in and eventually start to really ramp as more and more people get excited about blockchain, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrency again.
Sweet. Yeah, I agree with you totally there. You touched on the fact that you had Trace Mayer on your show on the podcast, man. He's got a new campaign that just kind of just rolled out about a month or so ago, I believe. Proof of keys. What is your thought on that campaign and the whole initiative to basically just do almost like an audit on these exchanges or against these exchanges? People are going to withdraw their cryptocurrencies by January 3rd and really force the crypto exchange hands. What do you think about that? What kind of what outcomes do you see from that event?
Well, first and foremost, I'll be honest, I only found out about that through you just now. Okay. So sorry, before we spoke, when we spoke briefly, right? Right. So that's the first issue with that. I get why he's doing it, but the problem is that he's not got a big enough microphone. It needs to be shared around more. Now that I know it, I can take part in that. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good initiative. God honest truth is, I don't see it. I don't see it having too much impact, just because I just don't see enough people that are in this space uniting and in a big enough mass all over the world. So let's not forget that Trace has a big following in the US and the Western speaking world. Right. A lot of the volume is done in Asia still. A lot of the people that hold it,
it's banned in Asia, so, right? That's crazy. It's banned in China at least. In China at least.
Exactly. So I like the initiative. I don't think he's going to get enough wind in his sails to really convert that into anything damaging or exposing any platform. I just don't think. I think crypto's too big for that right now. Maybe if John McAfee, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that he does, but he does have a big voice. Yeah. And the equivalent, CZ and Charlie Lee and Jimmy and all the big guys, Tone Vays, if all these guys, if all of us collectively got together with our microphones and say, hey guys, let's do this, and we covered not just the Western world, but all regions to all the big influencers, then I think we might see something that would expose them, whether they would be a positive exposure or a negative exposure. But I just don't think one person in the Western world can have enough effect on it right now. Yeah,
good point. And, first year, right? So hopefully next year we'll gain more momentum, more people to, this will be a great thing to do, maybe annually or biannually with this movement of, just making sure these exchanges
accountable.
They're accountable. Right. Okay, so let's talk about Bitcoin and its price, right? So you're a finance guy, you're a trader. It's very easy for us to, well, easier to come to a fair value with equities and stuff. You can look at PEs, and you can look at earnings and all that stuff and figure out, okay, here's a fair value. This is where we should be. This equity is trading 10x above or whatever, right? Where's fair value for Bitcoin?
Yeah, good question. Well, I mean, look, that is the question.
That's the $10 billion question, right?
It is, and I've asked miners that. So I've interviewed a few guys and girls that run big mining operations, and I've heard them say when I was in New York back that the fair value for them was $15,000, which of course that's their modeling is, if that's fair value, then we are 5 times under that or 4.5 times under that right now. So I think when it comes to modeling and valuations, I think many have tried and all have failed.
All have failed, yeah.
To this point right now. Look, for me, it's a speculative asset as a short-term trading opportunity. So I've got my trading account and I've got my investment account. Let's not use the two. So I invest, sit back and I hodl, and I've been cooked this year for a lot of it too, right? It's just, that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah.
I still believe in the projects I've invested in. I still believe in Bitcoin, and I still believe in everything else that I'm in. But when I'm trading, I'm not interested in fair value.
Yeah,
I don't care at all. So look, until we have a more established market with more established players that can come together, and maybe we can, work out a fair value by stringing all of those guys and girls together, kind of like an interbank type role. I think it'll be different to get a fair value. Because we don't have, it's not country based. We can't do like foreign exchange with GDP.
That's the thing. It's just so difficult. Yeah, it's a new asset class where you have to just change it. You can't use traditional methods in pricing this thing. So yeah, you're right, man. I was just curious though to hear it from you and see what you thought about fair value of Bitcoin. But
sounds like we're speaking the same language.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us, Craig, about what you're excited about in blockchain. Not so much just Bitcoin, but blockchain in general. Are you paying attention to this new wave called STOs? I think this is going to be a huge market in the future, and will probably steal a lot of business from these equity exchanges and such. What are your thoughts on blockchain going forward in the future, and your thoughts on STOs?
Yeah, well, first of all, blockchain I see as being just a groundbreaking technology that allows us to have that trustless peer-to-peer network. I think it's fantastic. It cuts out the middleman. It saves business, creates business. It's a new economy, and the use of the technology and the people that are learning about it and the people that are interested in it, apart from the entrepreneurs, the tech people, and the people that are investors looking out for this sort of stuff, are young people. They are, if we want to call them a name, I guess it's millennials. They're sort of between the ages of young 30s to early 20s, right? Now, this is a big demographic, a big voter base. Now, you've got the bankers and look, I think banks and crypto can coexist. I don't think there needs to be one or the other. I think there's too much power in the banking sector as it stands. So I think that crypto, if it does play its part, can help to, again, hold them a little bit more accountable, because they have to be a bit more honest about things. I mean, if you think about it, right, I can withdraw like $2,000 cash from my account today. It's my money. I should be able to take the whole lot if I want it, right? I'm restricted with my own money because they don't want everybody to do a Trace Mays and pull it all out. And
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So that blockchain, it's again holds a lot of people accountable, which I think is a really good thing in everything in life and in business. The STO market, I'm super keen to see that. I mean, I think the first plays we're going to be seeing will be real estate based and maybe commodity based. So I mean, real estate effectively is a commodity anyway. And if you think about the application of that, a developer who's got 100 luxury apartments in, say, Miami, you can only sell them to a certain number of people that can afford, that $3, $4, $5 million price tag and beyond, right? Whereas if you fragment that asset class, you now have the entire world that can take part and invest within this building. What that does for someone like myself, yourself, and the average human being is it allows me to have a property portfolio that is truly diversified in a global sense. And so demographic sense.
It's a REIT on steroids, basically. Right?
Correct. Exactly. So I think that those will probably be the first applications as they make the most logical sense. And I've been speaking with a few guys here in Sydney. We've just been through a massive boom. Developers have made an absolute mozza. I was doing some stuff in property before I came into crypto, actually, because that was just the space to be. And so I think that's probably where it's going to start, where it goes to. I think the sky's the limit. I think everything could potentially be securitized into a tokenomics environment, and it could just change the way we do business and invest.
Yeah, yes, that's totally
pretty exciting stuff.
It really is, man. It's going to really change a lot. As you've stated, take a little bit of the concentration of power away from traditional markets. I don't think that it'll ever go away totally. No. That's a pipe dream that many of us early in the crypto game thought would happen. I'm starting to now realize it won't be a replacement, but a more coexisting integration with the traditional systems. Let's talk more about trading. You go by Trader Cobb. I'm a trader. What to you makes a successful trader? I'm just gonna jump out there and say, it's probably, for me, it's actually not the trading system. It's more risk management. So just let me know what your thoughts are on a successful trader and what programs you have available to people to become a successful trader.
Yeah, so you hit the nail on the head, mate, as far as I'm concerned as well. My statement is trading is risk management.
Yeah.
Full stop. That's it. If you're selling mobile phones and you haven't got any more mobile phones to sell, you're not selling anything. You haven't got a business. In trading, your mobile phones are your capital, so you have to preserve that at all costs. But look, I think structure. People need to have structure. That if you don't have an approach that's consistent, you're not likely to get consistency from your trading. I really believe in that. Now, I only speak from my experience, of course, and my experience is basically a checklist-based system. So I've got 3 trading strategies, as you can see in front of you there. I've got a Bitcoin breakout, crypto cradle, and a Fibonacci boost. Now, of course, they're just names because you've got to name things, right?
Right.
You buy a dog and give it a name. But effectively, the reason that I trade these 3 strategies and have done for such a long time is because the market does one of 3 things. It consolidates, i.e. it goes sideways. The breakout is for when it breaks out of those ranges. It moves and pulls back in a trend. That's what the cradle is. So it moves, pulls back, it stalls, gives you a little opportunity. Then it moves again, whether it be up or down. And then the third way markets move is rapidly. And you need to have different strategies for a rapid moving market. So that's really why those 3 strategies were created. Those 3 strategies weren't created for a product-based environment. They were based around what I needed to be a disciplined, successful trader. And it took me a long time to get these strategies to work for me properly the way I wanted them to. So yeah, effectively, I teach them at tradercobb.com. As I can teach you all 3 of them. But I want to say one thing: it's not going to make you a great trader. My strategy is in your hands. It's not going to mean that you're going to get great results. You have to put the work in. I cover a lot about the power of now, which is an Eckhart Tolle book or audio book, and it's really, I thought it just sort of epitomizes what traders need to have on a day-to-day basis, and it's again that consistency of emotion, that consistency of thought and execution. So, for example, one day I've got my checklist for my bonus for some of my essential factors. Tick all those boxes and a couple of bonus factors. Okay, look, that's a good trade. But that day I'm not feeling very well. So the strategy hasn't changed at all. The variable has been me. I've changed. The way I'm feeling and thinking has changed. So it's inconsistent with that, good, solid mindset. Now, this trade might end up being not what I thought it was. And I come back and revise that and go, why did I tick that box? It's clearly not there. But it wasn't that anything in the box changed. It was what was out of the box that changed, and that was me. So it's about controlling yourself as much as it is about controlling your trade and your complete environment. So,
and that aspect there that you talk about, Craig, is the part that takes the longest to get under control. And so that's why it takes, in my opinion, years for you to become a successful professional level-headed trader, because you have to first, it's an inner thing, as you've stated. And you can give them the book, man, but doesn't mean they're going to read it and comprehend it, right?
Exactly. But I'll tell you one thing about this marketplace is that with crypto, let's say you take 5 trades, 4 of them lose. Okay, you get, and you're managing your risk at 1% per trade, so you got 4% down. In crypto, like I said before, those runners, 1 trade. I got a short on Bitcoin at 5,700 with my members, and it was about a 17-to-1 reward risk trade. So you don't need many of those in a year, let alone in a month. And when the markets move, you get lots of opportunities like that. So I haven't taken a trade in December yet. I've just been sitting out. Number of reasons. I've been ridiculously busy. We've just launched a number of different things. But also the market sort of slowed up. That momentum is not quite as clear and obvious. There's a little bit at the moment going on to the upside. So we'll see how that goes, if we can hold 4,000 and get above it again. But it's a market that makes somebody who might, I think it would speed your career up by a couple of years, put it that way, just because of how quick things cycle and how fast you actually get to learn in this space.
Right. But it can also give you a false sense of security and confidence as well, right? That's what we saw. Everything. Yeah, we saw that in 2017. I swear I saw everyone coming out the woodworks doing Fibonacci's, doing lines, this, that, and the third, and I'm just laughing all the way because, it's a quote that Carl Icahn said. It's something like, don't confuse brains with a bull market, and that's what happened in 2017. A bull market, and everyone was just spot on. They were just genius with their trading skills, and now we get to see the real traders and the ones that really can adapt and not get emotional with their trades, correct?
Oh, mate, I've got a saying. It's, in a bull market, even a turkey can fly in a hurricane, right?
There you go.
And look, that's honestly, I'll tell you a story just quickly. That's why we've done this education business. I had no desire to come into this space and be Trader Cobb. I just wanted to be Craig Cobb and trade. That's what I was going to do. I started looking around at what was out there, and I saw the sort of stuff that people were posting and doing, and I'm like, that guy's got 100,000 Twitter followers. Like, are you kidding me?
Crazy. Yeah.
I'm like, he's been doing it for 6 months, and now he's a god. I'm like, what? This is just, so for me, it was, and they were charging money for courses like I do. But what frustrated me was the stuff they were teaching, I knew to be absolutely crap. They were just getting lucky. And look, they thought they were good, and their results were great. Right. But during that period, and I knew that people were going to lose their money, and I knew that people weren't getting the education that they need to have the tools required to make money whichever direction the market goes, and to hedge and to trade properly and to have systematic approaches. It just wasn't out there. I mean, I'm sure it was somewhere. I just, I didn't look at everybody, of course, but where I was looking, I couldn't find it. And so for me, it was like, look, I feel like I've got to do this. I'm happy that I did, because it's a successful little business that we've got running now. And people say, they often say, and they'll say, well, if you're such a good trader, why are you doing this? Well, why is Richard Branson doing all the businesses he's doing? And I'm an entrepreneur. Honestly, the education side of this for me, it's a lower risk opportunity for me to profit from my trading ability. That's the bottom line. So that's why I do it. I thoroughly do enjoy, I love this stuff more than anything else, to be honest. I really enjoy the talking to other people, meeting other people. But the business side is really big, because I've been a trader for 12 years, man. Like, it's really exciting to get into business now and to be running a different type of business. That's what's really exciting me at the moment. So yeah, but
that's cool, man.
Interesting space right now, that's for sure. A lot of people went quiet.
Yeah, definitely. So talk about, just to kind of sum up this interview. It's a really good interview here. Tell us about your current endeavors, what you're doing, what you got coming up in the future for 2019 at Trader Cobb.
Mate, more of the same, really. Okay. We are trying to, we've just created 2 new courses. And what we're doing is effectively trying to bring other people in. So they're a lead-in course. One's free, so it's a sort of course that any of your watchers or viewers probably won't get anything from. We're just about to launch it, and it's, you know, basically what is blockchain, what is Bitcoin, and it's talking to the, you know, 50-year plus generation, right? The people that have a bit more money. We want to help give the space some extra credibility to teach people that this isn't just funny internet money. This is a real opportunity for people to get involved and to learn about a new asset class. So that's a really big focus going forward in 2019. And yeah, really just, I guess, continuing to do what we do. It's been a frantic year with lots of travel. I've been to a bunch of different countries, met a bunch of different people, all whilst we've been in startup mode. It's been absolutely insane. So really looking forward to just, you know, really spending some time with my community, working with them closely, more travel, but maybe a little less hectic pace. I know that's probably unlikely, but yeah, it's been a big year for us. It's been a really fun year, and I just want to help people to understand what's going on, whether it be from a beginner point of view, from what is the space and what's the opportunities here, all the way through to a trader, someone who wants to learn to trade. Really want to get the word out there and just help as many people as we possibly can and build a business at the same time. You know, let's not beat around the bush. That's what I'm here to do. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So finally, give me your thoughts. 2 years, a year, 5 years out. What does it look like with Bitcoin? We all know, I mean, well, we don't all know, but you and I know that we can never predict the price of any asset going out that far. Just kind of give us a gut feel of where do you see Bitcoin, blockchain, the whole industry maybe in 2 to 5 years?
2 to 5 years, I think there'll be massive growth. Where it comes from, who it is, what projects win, that I don't know. I have no idea. But with you know, our ear to the ground, listening, working with, interviewing, and being in this space quite heavily, it's my job to try and find those projects and then to invest in those and then to interview those people and to give other people the opportunity to recognize the same opportunities that I am, and they'll recognize other opportunities that I won't. But it's really, I think that this space is, I truly believe it's not going anywhere. I mean, if I thought it was going somewhere, I've wasted an awful lot of money and time, you know, doing what I do here. I don't know where it'll be in 3 to 5 years, but I do know it will be around. That's the big thing. And on that note, actually, we've got, for any of your listeners and viewers, we've got a competition going that ends on the 26th of January. Where are we in? No, December. Jeez, sorry. Which just trade a Cobb, that's cobb.com/BTC. And I think if you actually just go on the landing page, I think it's a pop-up at the moment. It'll just pop up for anyone who's first sort of logged in there. But tradercobb.com/BTC, you can win a bunch of stuff from us. All you need to do is put your email and name in and just guess the price of Bitcoin that you think it will be at midnight. I think it's UTC on the coin. Well, all the terms and conditions are there in the video. Okay. But yeah, you can try and guess the price of Bitcoin, and we'll throw you some prizes if you're the lucky winner.
Sweet. So great, man. I'm glad you came on. Definitely hope to be on your podcast at some point in the future.
Definitely.
And we'll talk trading, Bitcoin finance, whatever, man. I'm loving it.
I'd love to.
Again, Craig Cobb from tradercobb.com. Thanks again for coming on Kicking It session with Crypto Blood. And we're out of here, people.
Thanks, mate.
Perfect time, it feels like I'm too late.